Hi, this is Marcel of Marcel on Tech, and today we are reviewing two of potentially the best earbuds that come from Apple on the market at the moment. So we have the classic AirPods Pro 2s here, and we have the Studio or the Beats Studio Pro Plus in their very cool signature transparent case as well. Now I thought to compare these two together because they're both Apple products. They're both kind of targeting slightly different markets. The pricing is also slightly different, but I did think it was fair to find out what a newer product, how it would compare to one of the flagship devices from Apple. So let's get into it and see which one you should be buying. Okay, so first and foremost, first of all, I like to put them into my ear so you can see the profile of them sitting in my ear. So I'm going to put one of each in each ear. The Studio Pros Pluses in my right ear like so. And then I'm going to put the Earbuds Pro 2 in my left ear like that. But first and foremost, you can see for yourself just how they sit and how they look inside my earlobe when I've got them in. Like so, you can decide for yourself which sort of design you prefer the most in terms of how it looks. The Studio Buds have got quite a unique design in that they are obviously quite a funny shape indeed, in that they have this kind of pill effect with this very grippy section of it there, and a tactile push button as well. So actually that is a physical push button on each of the buds to control volume, to control playback, answering phone calls, hanging up, all that kind of stuff. So that is actually very nice and tactile. And I have to say, it's one of the things that I really do like about this earbud. On the other side, we've got the more sleek profile with the stem on the Buds Pro 2. And one thing I've been very pleased with, I have to say, is the tactility of the button here, which isn't an actual physical button, but one that does make a clicking noise in your ear when you've actively touched it, is very good. I have to say, this is probably one of the best capacitive touch buttons that I've used on any earbuds to date. And that is why these things are the flagships, of course. So these two devices, based on how they look, you tell me how they feel. To look at the design of each of these, they are very different in design in terms of they are somewhat of a pillbox shape, but the Pro 2 are a smaller box, much smaller in fact, and very, very pocketable. This one, whilst it's a nice box, I keep dropping it. This is almost the second time that I've dropped it, just from whilst filming. This pillbox is a little bit bigger. Funnily enough, I find it a little bit more slippery. Even though this is shiny, this is actually a little bit more slippery in hand, but I do love the design. I love the transparent design. I'm a big fan of it. If you've ever seen my Nothing phones, I've always got my Nothing earphones and my Nothing phone as well, because I really like that design. And I had to get hold of these because I thought it was very, very unique and very, very cool to look at. Now, in the walkthrough, obviously, you can see here, we can see the battery, we can see all the inner workings, but there are some fundamental differences. So what is it about these devices that's going to make them so different, and the reason for why you want to consider getting one? So fundamentally, they come from the same company. Battery life. Battery life is going to be better on the Studios. However, it's a close tie because with ANC on, these actually don't last as long as the Apple do. They are very, very good with the ANC, and the ANC is really, really good. This is superior. This is some of the best ANC tech I've actually used, probably competing with the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro 2 as well. Though these two, obviously they're flagship devices, so they should be really good. They are definitely up in the top ranges, better than. However, these are definitely not bad. You will not lose out with the ANC, and you can definitely notice the difference when you activate it and use these. So these Studio Plus are excellent in terms of ANC. They're never going to block out all sound. Neither of them do that, but they do just neutralize ambient sound, which is incredibly nice. And until you actually use it, you don't realize how nice it can be to have less ambient noise. It really is quite profound. So these win out, and these have always been the market leaders to date. but these are definitely not far behind. These are probably then A. I wouldn't give them an A plus yet, but an A, and I'd give these a B minus, which is very, very good, and especially for the price. Now, if we continue to look around, we've obviously got USB Type-C studios because, of course, that is how we charge them, because it does not have wireless charging, which is a bit of a shame. Whereas the Apples do, of course, have the Lightning connector, which, of course, is proprietary Apple, but they do have wireless charging. So you can put it on your station and it will charge wirelessly for you. So charging it wirelessly is slow on the Apples, but it will work, so you can have them there and give it an extra boot up if you need to. This one, you will have to plug them in, which is a little bit of a pain. But personally, I've been using these for over a week and I haven't plugged them in to charge at all, and I've been using them every single day. So you're probably going to get at least 8 hours of usage time here, and then of course added another 30 hours when you put them back into the case. And here they claim that you're going to get around 18 hours, but then you get another 30 hours with the case as well. Use case is very unique to everyone, because you will use it in different ways. If you use the A and C, if you don't, all that kind of stuff. So battery life, I'm always very reluctant to talk about, because the specs rarely match up with usage, and you will probably get through a week without even thinking about having to charge these up, depending on how you use them. Now, the thing that is very important is, how do they sound? So the sound quality is probably the 50% of the reason why you would get them. And the sound quality is very good on both, in fact. And I would say the difference between them is this. There is more punchy bass on the beats, which is understandable because that's kind of their signature sound setup, shall we say. Because of over the earbuds, they are notoriously more bass rich, and for me, I like that. But in terms of overall sound quality, the Apple Buds Pro 2 are really good. You've got the full sound, but then you've also got very rich details in other forms of music as well. So anything from fine guitar to flute to concerto to classical music. You're really going to get the richness of sound from these. It's not to say that you're not going to get it from the studios, but the Pro 2s are just a more fuller, more evenly rounded sort of design and sound output as well, which is really impressive. Now, I am an Android user. I have tested both of these devices on both formats, but I use Android. So I wanted to know could an Android user actually use this device? And here's what I've noticed. First of all, latency. It is not perfect. When I plug these in and I watch a YouTube video and so on, there is no time delay whatsoever. There's no issue whatsoever. It is super, super synced up. These ones, there's a fraction of latency, which is not what you would expect, but on an Apple device, zero latency. So I don't know if they do that on purpose, but basically these work perfectly with an Apple device, of course, but not perfectly with an Android one. Another one, when you clearly connect, because they connect almost straight away, but interestingly, when you start to play a video, it plays on the left side, the right side is like asleep, and then it suddenly realizes they connect with each other, and then the sound passes through. So it's not really annoying, because you obviously you've still got the sound coming through one side, but it'll last about 2 seconds, and then it pops across the other side. When it's connected to an Apple device, both are synced up perfectly. So again, whether they do that on purpose, I honestly couldn't tell you. But the point is, again, synchronicity with an Android device is just not the same using these. However, sound quality is good. You can't control some of the features. Of course, the Find My AirPods is not going to work as well. But there are third-party apps that you can use that will help you to get that functionality on an Android. But Apple purposefully don't create an app for Android users to use this device, which they should, but they don't. So you don't get the full benefit, but if you were to buy these, you really wouldn't be losing out on a lot, other than the Find My function, but you would need a third-party app to do that, and the sound quality from these is very good. But should you be spending over 230 euros for these, if the studios, which are from the same company, just under a different brand, will cost you anything around just under 200 euros if you can get them on a sale price at the moment. These are very new, so their retail is about 220. But if you can get these on sale below 200, you are in for a winner. And I'll put any links in the description here. I'll find the best prices that I can, and then you can decide for yourself. But otherwise, in terms of sound quality, these are obviously A's for real, and these are B pluses because they are very, very good. They definitely block the ear canals, and the sound quality I thought was very, very good as well. So I was very pleased with these. These are better, but the studios are very good as well. So you cannot be too unhappy about it. So one of the other reasons to buy these earbuds is because of active noise cancellation. I've already mentioned that it is very, very good. You've also got pass-through, which is where, obviously, if you want transparency, whereby the sound is coming through the earphone into your ear, the Apple AirPods 2 Pro pass sound through much more naturally than if you use the studios or any others, actually. In fact, most other earbuds that I've used that have transparency mode or pass-through, whatever it's called, active pass-through, amplified from with the sound that it can hear. So it kind of gets amplified into your ear. With these, it feels very natural. It's like they're not actually in your ear. It's just, you can now hear much better. So they've done very, very well with it, very cleverly with the Apple products, I have to say. They've done very well with the Buds Pro. But these will help you if you want to be able to hear your ambient sound. But I love the active noise cancelling on both because you can block out sound and really immerse yourself in music as well. So they have been very, very good for that purpose as well. I'll take these out now. Now, in terms of comfort in the ear, actually, in fairness, both of them are around the same sort of weight inside the ear, so you can forget, shall we say, that you're wearing them. I would probably give it to the Apple AirPods 2 Pros that are slightly more comfortable. They just seem to sit into the ear very nicely with the stalks pointing downwards really, really well. And I have to say, I did like the way they looked and the way they felt, and they sounded really, really good. Again, phone calls as well, which is very important. Both actually were very good, but both the other side said that they could hear me very clearly, although with the studios, because it doesn't have a stalk, the mics are just that little bit further away from the mouth and or the audio pickup, then it was just a little bit more affected by ambient noise from around, which is something that both can suffer from. I've had reports that these also suffer from ambient noise. So it's very tricky, actually. Apple Pros are supposed to isolate voice really, really well. That was something they spoke a lot about. And yet I've had reports of people saying that they're not very good for voice pickup on voice calls. Put your comments below if you've got any ideas or if you've experienced that yourself. I'd really like to know, because the Apple products should be very, very good at picking up voice and isolating it through the earbuds. The Studio Pros are good. If you're in a quiet environment, you can easily have a conversation or a video call, and the person will definitely hear you. A bit more difficult outdoors, but better than they have been certainly in the past. So for audio calls, video calls, both of them will be perfectly adequate indeed. In finale, I would recommend that if you've got an Apple product, an Apple device, and you want the best there is, it absolutely makes sense that you go with the Apple, because their ecosystem is always complete and everything works better within Apple. But even though this is an Apple product, I would argue that these are not as good as these. And if you can get the Apple Pro Buds 2 on sale, it's a no-brainer. The price of these is fair, but not great. If you can get these on sale for below 200, even though they're very new, then you're winning, and these are going to be great. And they're going to work perfectly with Android and Apple, but obviously more favorably towards Android, because Apple love to make it more difficult for Android users to use their earbuds. So anyway, that's my recommendation. You'll find links below. Obviously, follow those. That would help me out a lot. Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment below if you've got any ideas or suggestions about these two devices and which one you prefer or which one you would like to go for. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again in my next one. Bye-bye for now.